Alright guys, I'm pretty pumped to be making this video because sniping is kind of my thing. I don't really use any other special weapons that often. I've almost been sniping exclusively since Destiny 1. I've even sniped in some tournaments and scrims and stuff, and I've had a few people ask me to make some sniper focused videos, so here we are. This first one is going to be for the Warlock, and then I'll move on to the Titan and Hunter afterward in some future videos, so let's get into it. So the Warlock is actually my favorite class and the one that I usually main while sniping. I have two subclasses that I'm going to recommend because I think they stand out more than some of the others. And then I have one honorable mention. The honorable mention is going to be the Voidwalker subclass. I think it's really strong and it's actually pretty good with sniper. I would use it with a sniper more than I would with a shotgun, but I don't think it's quite as good as the other two. So with that out of the way, the first one I'm going to talk about is going to be Stasis, the Shade Binder for the Warlock. For some reason this class is actually kind of slept on. I don't really see it that much compared to some of the other classes. I don't really know why. It's really good. Stasis has been nerfed a few times, but especially the Shade Binder is still really strong. So the main reason why I think it's really good with sniping is just basically the ability to freeze people up close. It's super clutch when you're sniping. A lot of times your deaths will just be shotguns up close because you can't really do much. Like, shotguns are so free once they're next to you when you're sniping, and you really can't do much. They don't have to aim, they can just one-shot you, so it's pretty hard to counter them up close. So Stasis on the Warlock lets you do this pretty easily. Basically, I'm not going to make a full guide on how to play the subclass or anything, but you can use the freeze rift aspect that lets you freeze people that are close to you when you throw your rift down, and the melee lets you freeze people too. Both of these can be used to sort of keep people that are next to you frozen and just headshot them or melee them. They both will kill. So it's really easy. The rift is kind of hard to time, so you kind of have to use it ahead of time when you think someone's pushing you and freeze them, but it can still be done. The melee is really strong and it has a little bit more range. And then the other thing is you can use the cold snap grenade, and that also freezes people. That seems a little inconsistent. Like, sometimes it freezes people that I think it shouldn't, and sometimes it like runs away onto the walls when there's someone standing right there. So that's like the least of the freezing that I do, but the melee is the best, and the rift is also pretty good. Another thing is it's good for, you can freeze supers too. Like, a lot of times I just freeze the super and headshot them. It's pretty free. Super strong overall. So anyway, that's the first class I'm gonna recommend. The second one is going to be just the basic Top Tree Dawn. I do think this class is a lot harder to use than Stasis. Stasis, you kind of just freeze people and spam your abilities, but this one is a little bit harder to use, but I think it has a higher ceiling. This is the one that I typically main, normally because Stasis is kind of banned when I play in like private matches or a tournament or something. I can't really play Stasis, so I use Top Tree Dawn instead. But if Stasis wasn't banned, I'd probably consider using that. It's really strong on a sniper, like I said. Anyway, the reason why Top Tree Dawn is so good is because the aerial play that you can get with the class, and the Icarus dash is just so good for movement and speed. Especially like in trials, if you're trying to get to a lane first, using the dash is like the fastest movement almost in the game, so it lets you get there first. The other thing is the melee is really good. The Celestial Fire gives you a ranged melee that kind of tracks too. You can body shot people and then throw the melee. That's something that I need to do more personally because it's really strong. You can just body melee from pretty far and get a kill. The other thing is if you consume the grenade, it lets you get heat rises, and sort of you can float in the air for like 10-15 seconds kind of. You can challenge angles that no other class in the game can even challenge from. Like, only Top Tree Dawn with the grenade can go into certain angles, and most people don't even look there because there's really no reason. I mean, I'm sure you've seen people with like DMT or something just in the sky somewhere shooting you, so I'm sure you can see how strong that would be. So that's about all I have for my recommended sniping subclasses. I'll eventually make an in-depth sniper guide one of these days, but until then I just plan on making some smaller videos like this one to address some of the questions that I get asked pretty often. So anyway, thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.